it is such an obvious open and shut case in general, considering that your lawyer already was sentenced to prison for it. The main guy, who is now the star witness against you, literally already served a prison sentence. Breaking, the first 6 jurors have been chosen. Oh my God, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they did that. So they asked them 40 questions. They had to fill 40 questions. Do I believe personally that every single juror on that questionnaire lied? Every single one? That's a lock. They did. There is no way that if I was given the opportunity to be a juror on a Trump hush money trial, that obviously is not going to lock him in jail or anything. But if I had the opportunity to be a part of that, I would be lying my ass off to try to be like, I don't know politics at all. Who is this Trump guy? Are you talking about the real estate mogul who had that TV show? What did he do? I am so impartial. I'm the most impartial. Couldn't find me 1,000 miles around any kind of radical politics. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'd be like, that's the steak guy, right? You just say one thing. You say, I only listen to Lex Fridman. Then they know you are the most center. You are the most centrist man on the planet. I am Lex Fridman, the most mathematically centrist person on the planet. There was actually a caveat in the juror selection. You had to be racist against white people is true. No.
Begin with a very busy start to former President Donald Trump's historic criminal trial right here in New York City. Now, Donald Trump was mostly quiet during the proceedings. That's in contrast to recent comments on social media and elsewhere that have gotten him into a little bit of trouble. The former president faces 34 felony counts related to alleged hush money payments to cover up an affair. Now, he denies all of this. Robert Costa was in the courthouse, and we're glad to say that this morning, Bob is in the studio with us. Good morning to you.
Good morning. On day one of his historic criminal trial, former President Trump lashed out at the New York judge who is requiring him to be there every day court is in session, potentially for 8 weeks. And so far, not one juror has been chosen.
Donald Trump was defiant Monday as he became the first former president to face criminal charges.
We're not going to be given a fair trial.
During the proceedings, Trump appeared irritated at times and bored at others, even appearing to nod off at one point, but perked up as potential jurors entered the courtroom. Out of the first batch of 96 prospective jurors who were sworn in and questioned, more than half were excused, many after saying they could not be fair and impartial. Trump is accused of scheming to funnel payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels through his former lawyer Michael Cohen, in what prosecutors say was an attempt to stop an alleged past affair from becoming a scandal just before the 2016 presidential election. Trump has denied both the affair and making the payments.
President, did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
Lies. Dude, it is such a funny situation to be in. Like, sure, the punishment is not that severe in general, okay? But like, it is such an obvious open and shut case in general, considering that your lawyer already was sentenced to prison for it. Like, the main guy, who is now the star witness against you in the court proceedings, literally already served a prison sentence. What the are we talking about? The fact that people are still confused about this, where they're like, oh, well, it's bullshit, like blah, blah, blah. Like, sure, you can say that it's like minor, and this is the most like meaningless, I guess, case, because the other ones are genuinely much more meaningful. Okay, hold on, I have to do something here real quick. Anyway, but yeah, that guy is the star witness in this case. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? That's your lawyer. You paid him to pay Stormy Daniels hush money. Okay. Now, the only way out of this in a former proceeding similar to this one, a mismanagement of campaign funds, the only way out of this at least from one angle, would be to say that you are actually doing this because you wanted to hide the truth from your wife. It wasn't about hiding the truth from the public, because the public would have actually found out and would have gotten mad. But instead, you were just trying to simply hide the fact that you paid a porn star hush money from your wife. But that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense because, like, why the fuck, like, just paying hush money alone is one thing, but like showing that as legal retainer instead of showing that as a legal fee, instead of just like showing that as hush money, is a way to try to shelter the truth from the public, specifically because it's not like your wife is going to look through your books. You know what I mean? Like, is that the argument that like Melania was going to look through your accounting and find out that you paid Michael Cohen this like weird amount of money at this certain date? Like, it's just dumb as what happened to the election interference case that was going against him? What happened to that? Genuinely feel like nothing's going to happen to him and it will only make him more popular. The election interference case, the federal one, is still ongoing. I mean, it's slated to happen, and so is the Georgia case. But obviously, when you're very rich, or at least like have enough people that will offer legal counsel to you because you're the former president for political reasons or because of, you know, clout-related reasons, it doesn't really matter. You can hold that shit up as much as you possibly can.
The trial is likely to feature testimony from key witnesses, including Cohen and Daniels, along with former...
Yeah, he also delayed the payment until after the election because he's such a nickel and dimer, because he thought he wouldn't have to pay after the election, because he wouldn't give a shit about like people knowing that he fucked a porn star post-election. So it directly, on two different fronts, implies that he was mismanaging campaign funds, and also on top of that, doing this as a way to like shelter the truth. I mean, as a way to like hide the truth in the public. But again, the legal repercussions for such a thing are minor. It's only elevated to a felony partially due to Donald Trump himself, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. I mean, I think there's like some about state law, but
White House aide Hope Hicks. Last week, the former president slammed Cohen and Daniels on social media, calling them sleazebags. Attorneys with the Manhattan DA's office asked the judge to hold the former president in contempt for violating a gag order. A hearing on that will be held later this month.
It's a scam. It's a political witch hunt.
Throughout the day, Trump sent out a blizzard of fundraising appeals blasting the case and criticized the judge for not allowing him to attend a U.S. Supreme Court hearing next week on his presidential immunity claims.
He thinks he's superior, I guess, to the Supreme Court. We got a real problem with this judge.
CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman joins us now at the table. Glad you're both here. Bob stays with us as well. Ricky, so this is the first of, I believe, 4 different criminal trials of the former president is facing. Why is this one in particular so significant?
It's significant because it's first. It's significant.
they want all Republicans for jurors. Yeah, that's the only way we can have a impartial jury. How come every judge we have a problem with? Yeah, I mean, everybody knows all the judges are woke. Even the Trump appointed judges at the federal courts that allowed the investigation into the mismanagement of mishandling of classified documents. There's not a single judge in the goddamn nation that isn't anti-Trump, dude. It's so fucked up.
And it is a solemn day in court when you put a former president, let alone one who is running for office again, on trial. Everything about this has to be taken seriously. And if he is convicted, you must face the fact that there are people out there who will take this conviction seriously in Bob's world when they go to the polls.
Should we point out that this is not normal? You know, Donald Trump always says it's a witch hunt, everyone's against him, that it's unprecedented, but also his behavior for a lot of people is unprecedented. This is just not normal what we're living. After a while, I worry that the audience just hears white noise where they hear all of these cases running together.
They may, but this is the first one that actually is going forward, so the attention will be on this one. But no, it is not normal. Nothing about this follows legal norms in a courtroom. It may happen this time because Judge Merchant is strict and he is going to run a courtroom the way it should be run. But 34 felonies, for business records, not normal.
Bob, Trump has already been accused of violating the judge's gag order, which bars him from making public statements about witnesses. How does this affect his ability to rally his base?
So the gag order allows Trump to talk about the judge in this case. It allows him to talk about the district attorney, just not witnesses. But it's clear that former President Trump is testing the bounds of what he's able to say as not only the defendant in this case, but as Ricky said, a candidate for federal office, running for the presidency. And he's also trying to show his people that he's fighting the political establishment, the legal establishment. One time I reported about a story. Hope Hicks talked to Trump after the 2020 election. She said, "Why can't you just give up the fight?" He said, my people, they demand I fight.
Yeah, he acts like it's on behalf of the people. There were reports that he seemed to be falling asleep in court yesterday. Was he bored?
Whatever he was doing, he was closing his eyes, dipping his chin. Some there say he was sleeping, others say he was being performative. Whatever it was Trump, and he was showing he was dismissive of the proceedings.
Just resting his eyes for a moment.
Well,
that's
there's
all.
an adrenaline factor there, too. I mean, when you have a lot of stress and you are a criminal defendant who is potentially facing 4 years prison time, it gets to you that this is serious. And as you come in wrapped up tight...
Haters, bro. He's just EP. He's just a EP boy. He's just a EP boy, okay? What can a man do when a miscarriage of justice is happening in a country that he loves so much, that he's given his all to? What can a man do but close his eyes and dream of a better tomorrow, a better future where America isn't a banana republic, engaging in a real criminal trial, but the people who should be put on that stand are actually the Democrats themselves. Also, it's probably boring as... I mean, yeah, he's an 11-year-old child. He's tired. When you're always on uppers, but then you're not. You do realize what will happen if he wins? He will go after everybody, and only God can help us then. Do you support a father to miss his son's graduation because of a trial? I mean, come on. Is one day surely we could show respect to each other about these kinds of things? What are you saying? Donald Trump does not give a fuck about his son, dude. And also, that's not how criminal trials work, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? I can't... Dude, there is no way that this 80-year-old demon gives a single shred of a fuck about any of his children. You are so... Oh, how can... I wish I could, like, for one day, just for one day, be able to take a pill and be this silly. Okay? He likes his tall son, Barron, sure, but, like, even then, he doesn't give a shit. Come on, dude. I'm sorry. Guys, I just... For one day, I want to be able to believe. Like, I want to feel the way that a dude smoking on that MAGA crack feels like. For one day, I feel like it'd be so much fun. Like, if I could just, like, you know, just for one day, 24 hours, you're in and out. It probably feels great. You get scared a lot, right? You get scared of big cities all of a sudden. But I feel like it'd be a lot of fun. Barron could be the white Wemby, but the woke mob is holding him back. It's the racism demonstrated by the NBA, honestly. Everybody knows NBA is pro-China and anti-white racist. That's the real reason why Barron is not prospering.
You have moments where your adrenaline goes down.
I'm sure that's true.
It's going to be tough to get a jury, don't you think? I heard reports of jurors saying, I don't want to do this.
Well, Biden won like 85, 86% of the potential voters in the jury pool area. So, I mean, like, it's a very blue area is my point. Can they get a fair jury?
We have to decide what's fair. What it means is who is the least partial. And here, one of the smart things the judge did was he basically said, raise your hand and you may leave if you think you cannot be fair and impartial. That probably took days off of jury selection just by getting rid of those people. What I say, very important, watch out for the stealth juror, the juror who answers everything perfectly because he or she wants to be on that jury and vote the way that he or she does not appear that they will
Such
vote.
a veteran of these things. I love that kind of detail, yeah.
And watch for a venue change push. Sources close to Trump's legal team tell me they're going to try to get this case out of New York, saying they can't get a fair hearing.
And they should do it every single day. When you have 50% of the people who say they can't be fair, move for a change of venue.
And that number, by the way, is 87% voted for Joe Biden among the population that is the jury pool being drawn from. It's a big number.
Speaking of Joe Biden, you might not be able to use that Sleepy Joe diss if it's true that he fell asleep in court. Ricky and Bob, thank you both very much. Appreciate it.
We have one of the jurors who has now been dismissed. She arrived at jury duty.
I didn't realize the media was trying to do the actually Trump is the sleepy one narrative with this whole like he was EP in court. That's awesome. I genuinely did not realize that was like the ulterior motive here. That makes sense. That's cool. Yeah, people definitely when people say like sleepy Joe Biden, they mean like he actually is honk shoeing and memeing and not because he's like his brain capacity is deteriorated very publicly. That's what they meant literally.
Just yesterday was dismissed today. Her name is Kara McGee. I want to turn to her right now. Kara, thank you for joining us. Everyone is so eager to understand what it was like to even be called for jury duty today. When did you realize that this was the Trump trial?
So definitely not when I first got the jury letter. That was kind of the standard open your mailbox like, oh, I have to take off work in 2 weeks. So when I texted my mom and said, oh, I got jury duty, and she said, starting what day? And I said, April 15th, tax day. And she said, I think that's when the Trump trial starts. So I was wondering if I would be on that or on some other case at the same time, you know, in the building, because I assume there's a lot more.
Shocker. Neither Fox News nor Fox Business has mentioned reports of Trump falling asleep in court today. Yeah, because who gives a like, what do you mean? What? Wow, I can't believe they didn't cover that. It really shows bias, which they are, obviously, but like this is the funniest way to complain about bias.
Going on. And then yesterday when I got here and we were put into a jury holding room, and it seemed like there were 500-ish people waiting to get put into two separate holding rooms. I had the thought of like, this is probably Trump because I don't think they'd call quite this many jurors for anything else. So
what?
They fully would have ran a breaking news if Biden did that shit, but no, like it's dumb. Yeah, of course they would have because they're biased and everyone knows that. The photos in this tweet kill me, like they're trying to make him look hot. A father not being able to attend his son's graduation is heartless and evil. This is beyond unfair and unjust. What's your reaction to the judge's actions today? Dude, there's nothing funnier than like every guy who's behind on child support payments complaining about Trump not being able to attend his tall son's graduation today. The graduation is in May, by the way. Oh, wait. That's what I thought that was weird that he said that. So his son's not even graduating yet? That makes it so much funnier. Every guy who's behind on child support payments is complaining about Trump not being able to attend his tall son's graduation, even though it's like months from now. And he likely would be able to attend. He likely could still attend, even though it's a month from now, and he likely still could attend. Okay, you know what? Let's just do this. 34 MKD 50. God damn. God damn. In the middle of the hour ad break timing, too. Look at that. This guy's out of control. If you're watching Rosebud, love you. I hope you're well. Oh my God, Sheltered Rosebud. What are they up to? Some court sketches are subpar. This one, though, is perfect. Oh, dude, he looks so evil. That's awesome. Still got 5 more days of their 211-week ban. When will Sheltered Rosebud be unbanned? I gave him 7 days off, but I don't remember when I gave him the 7 days off. When is the televised trial? The unfortunate problem with the televised trial is that it's up to the Georgia judge right now. Oh, poor millionaire, billionaire. I don't think he should even get a trial. Just string him and all his co-conspirators up and I'd be happy. Of course, I'm a radical left commie bastard. Joking, sort of. Send Lolo as a channel correspondent. Would it being televised help or hurt him? Both. I will not elaborate. No, I'm kidding. It does. It helps him because he's on camera. And his fans love seeing like crumbs. You know what I mean? His stands need Trump crumbs, Trumpy crumbs. But it actually is, I will elaborate. It actually is hurting him as well because the broadest majorities are worried about him being corrupt, are worried about him being like undemocratic. So every moment that you remember that he is like doing crimes, and there is nothing more reminiscent of you doing crimes than you being in a courtroom in a televised trial, is a moment that like so many of these people who are older voters in the suburbs who are just like, oh, I would vote for Trump, but I hate the aesthetics. Like those guys are reminded once again as to why they hate Trump. Does that make sense? And I think it is a net negative in general. Like his stands are going to be excited that there are crumbs out here. You know what I mean? That there are crumbs out here for the Trump stands, for the Trump heads. But the people that have a lot of distaste for his like aesthetics will be reminded once again that he's just like a bad dude. He's bad for business.
What was everyone doing when they realized, like you at that point, that you were likely a part of the Trump jury trial pool of people? Were people talking amongst themselves? Was there kind of a buzz in the air?
You could feel that people were starting to realize it, but people weren't talking amongst themselves nearly as much as I expected. Weirdly enough, I think everyone had a sense of kind of uncertainty over what the protocols were in this situation, and so no one really felt like they should mention it. I'm sure.
Bro, I'm sorry if I'm Trump's defense attorney, the one look at her and I'm like, nope. Like one look at her and I'm like, abso-fucking-lutely not. Okay, this person 100% cares about abortion. There is no shot I'm letting her anywhere near that fucking jury stand, dude. She's not sitting there. No shot.
Sure, there were some jurors who just didn't know that this was happening right now or didn't realize that this was what they were called for. You could definitely see people kind of looking around like, do other people also get the sense that this is, but not really talking about it.
When you walked in the courtroom and you saw him, is that when you first learned that for sure this was the Trump trial? And how did it feel to see him?
So in the initial jury holding room, one of the, I guess, employees of the court had mentioned something about it being an unusual day. And I kind of wondered, like, does that mean we're definitely on this case or just because this case is also in the building? So yeah, it was when we walked into the courtroom and saw him that it was, that I was sure that it was definitely this case.
Did he make eye contact with you?
Yes, yeah.
What was that like?
Odd. It's, you know.
He was staring you down to be like, get her out. Get that woman out of here. I already know she listens to NPR and has 2 cats. Okay? No fucking shot. Get her out of here. 1, she has ovaries. Okay? Big mistake. Nobody with ovaries comes anywhere near, especially in the state of New York. We cannot have a single person with ovaries on that fucking jury. On that jury. You cannot have that. You can't be doing that. Don't call us 2 cat owners out like that.
It's someone who you've seen as this larger than life public figure for a decade or so at this point. And for people who have followed his business career, I'm sure longer than that, I didn't, but, and then you get in there and it's fascinating because you get these 2 very contrasting kind of senses at the same time, which is on the one hand, it's this very like massive sense of gravitas and importance because you know that this is history in the making, and whatever the outcome of this is, everything going forward will be affected by it. And at the same time, you walk into the courtroom and you see Trump sitting there. I had never seen him in person before. You see him sitting there and it's like, oh, it's just a guy. He's just a dude.
Why were you dismissed?
I was dismissed because, so in the jury questionnaire that you answer the questions to out loud, sorry, this is falling out. There's one question at the end that says, is there anything else that might affect your ability to serve that you haven't mentioned other than all of the questions that they ask? And I said the nature of my job would make it very difficult for me to be here from 9 to 5 for at least 6 weeks and probably longer. It's not really something that I can entirely do, by myself in the hours from 5 to whenever after being.
Was that the reason you thought that they dismissed you? Was it clear to you why?
I believe so. It was right after that question that the
Did
judge
they tell
said.
you why they dismissed you at all?
No, but other jurors that were dismissed due to an answer to a specific question, it was always right after that question where the judge asked the two legal teams if there were objections to dismissing the juror.
Dude, I would be so on board. Oh, God, I would love to be on that jury duty. That shit would have been so fire. CNN has really run out of content. I mean, yeah.